Hello everyone, myself Falguni. Welcome to our channel. Students, today we'll discuss Lesson 4 Albert Einstein at School, written by Patrick Pringle in our Snapshot book. Let's start with the brief information of the author here. Albert Einstein, his timing was 1879 to 1955, is regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton, and in the following extract, yani following lesson from the young Einstein, the well-known biographer Patrick Pringle described the circumstances which led to Albert Einstein's exemption from a German school. Yani what happened that in the life of young Einstein, that he had to leave his school when he was in his early adolescent time. Let's summarize the lesson a little bit. In this lesson, Einstein experience with school described by the Patrick. The Patrick familiarized the reader with whose years in the Einstein's life where he was struggling each day in school, and as each day passed, the school diploma felt like a far-fetched dream for Einstein. It throws light upon a few encounters with his teacher, especially his teacher, and what he felt about the neighborhood he lived in, and how he had only one good friend named Yuri. The way Albert get idea to get out from that miserable place यानी कि here school, that Albert compare and say school as a miserable place, and how things turn around in the end makes the story even more interesting. So here the lesson also begins with the encounter with history teacher to Albert, and where teacher asks him some question, how the Albert answer. Let's see. In what year, Einstein asked the history teacher, did the Parisians defeat the French at Waterloo? So, as I told you that the lesson starts with the encounter with the history teacher. The history teacher asked Einstein that in what year that Parisians defeat the French at the Waterloo War. So, Einstein replied that I don't know, sir. Why don't you know? You have been told it often enough. Now, teacher said that, how can you say that I don't know? I already told you often the answer of this question. Einstein replied that I must have forgotten. So Einstein बोलने गए भूल गया होगा शायद. Did you ever try to learn? asked the Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown जो यहाँ पर टीचर है, टीचर वो मीन्स उसको एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन को यहाँ पे पूछ रहे कि रियली यानी कि आपने कभी भी ट्राई की उसको रिमेंबर करने की. No sir, Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. Why not? Albert said no. So here Albert didn't want to insult his teacher, but he was honest enough. That's why he said that no, I never tried to learn. Teacher was surprised and asked that why not? Book. Here is the answer of Einstein. He replied that I can see any point to learning the dates, यानी कि history which was already past. I want or I'm interested in the present or the things which I am going to learn in future because it will be useful to me. It's the thoughts of Einstein. Mr. Brown was speechless for a few moments. Teacher was also speechless, यानी कि he hasn't any proper answer to justify his point of view. So he kept just mum for a minute. And here we can also see that when the Einstein answered that this moment completely led the teachers to remain speechless. Why? Because he want to ask or understand the question or answer given by the Einstein, and Einstein also questions on the classroom education, like what should be included in the syllabus and what should not. So let's continue with the lesson. You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books? That applies to all the facts you learn at school. The teacher said that can't you see that all the facts, all the things you will get from the book? So what do you have any problem with the book? And even you can get maximum things in school from your books. Yes sir. Einstein answered that, yeah, I know, sir. Then I suppose you don't see any point in the learning facts. Frankly, sir, I don't, said Albert. So यहाँ पर टीचर बोल रहे हैं कि so the reason is that you never try to see any points, any learning facts from the book. That's why you are saying that you don't like that books and all that. And Albert also replied frankly that, yes, sir, I never tried to do. Look, here Einstein was not trying to befool his teacher, but he's just presenting the fact what he believes. He's just justifying the way he think. Then you don't believe in education and all. Oh yes, sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education. So here the teacher said that and asked Albert that according to you there is no, you are not believing in education, and he also replied that definitely I don't think learning facts is education. वो बोला कि यहाँ पे सिर्फ जो facts जो यानी कि जो history है जो बीत गया है सिर्फ उसको पढ़ना एजुकेशन है. आई एम नॉट बिलीविंग इन दिस थिंग. सो जस्ट डोंट मिस इंटरप्रेट द sentences of Albert. Just try to understand the way he answered. Why? Because he thought that whatever they are being learned is irrelevant. क्यों irrelevant है? Because उनको लगता है जो facts यानी कि जो history है वो like history है, वो past है. It will be not useful in future. तो उनको लगता है कि जो facts है उसके अलग भी कुछ और भी वहाँ पे पढ़ाना चाहिए. Let's see. In that case, said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm, perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein theory of education. So here, history teacher in completely heavy sarcasm यानी कि heavy mockery or heavy like in tone of fun, he said that then it's better to explain us that theory of Einstein कि कैसे पढ़ाना चाहिए आप हमें बताओ. Albert flushed. I think it's not fact that matter but ideas, he said. Albert flushed यानी कि he just go with the flow. And he said that I think it's not the fact that matter but ideas. The matter thing, the most thing which matter is ideas. I don't see the point in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other. So here let's try to understand the point of view of Einstein. He said that I am just not believing in the fact that how many soldiers were killed and who was the winner. But I want to know that the reason why those soldiers were trying to kill each other. If you understand the concept that why they want to kill each other, if you convince the soldier, then there is no need of war. You can stop war, and there is no numbers or battles in the history. That's enough. Mr. Brown's eyes were cold and cruel. We don't want a lecture from you, Einstein. You will stay in for an extra period today, although I don't imagine it will do you much good. Look, here the teacher stopped Einstein and said that we don't want to learn anything from you. But here the both point of view are correct. One side they think that we remember the dates of battles in the history is one side is a fact, but second side it's also important the way Einstein think that why those soldiers want to kill each other. If you can find the answer of this, then you can stop many wars in future also. So here the teacher punished Einstein and said that you have to stay extra one period today, and he also said that I don't think that it will do any much change in you, because all the teachers, especially history teacher, know Einstein how he is. It won't do the school any good. Either you are a disgrace. I don't know why you continue to come. The teacher said that there is nothing any good if you even spend one extra period here, but either I could not understand that if you do not like the school, why you are coming to school? Just stay at home. It's not my wish, sir, Albert pointed out. So suddenly, quickly, Albert answered that it's not my wish. I just don't want to come. Here Albert says that I do not want to come. So let's see who forced him to visit school. then you are at ungrateful boy and ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggest you ask your father to take you away. So teacher says that then I think that you are ungrateful boy, yani ki you are like not respectful person or respectful student. Then it's better that you should inform your father. Then he will take you away from the school because you do not like to visit school. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. Miserable yani ki unhappy when he left school after completing the school. Not that he had been at a bad day. Most days were bad now. Anyway, but because he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning. Now Albert was very unhappy. Why? Because not teacher punished him for one extra period and he spent that time in school, but most of the days bad for him. The reason is that after the end of the day, very next day, he has to visit his school again and he doesn't like to visit the school. He only his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. So here we know that with the force of his father, Albert's father, he visits school, otherwise he doesn't like to visit it. He knew what the answer would be and he would have to stay until he had taken his diploma. And Albert know that if even I inform my father to please take me away from this school, then definitely he will answer that just complete your diploma and then I will take you away from the school. So he also know that there is no reason or no point to asking my father about the leaving school. Going back to his lodgings did not cheer him up. Lodging yani ki the place where he stay, where he live, like in PG, or we can say that hostel or PG. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. So Albert's father wasn't in the member of the wealthy and rich families. He had very low income, and that's why for in that money Albert only afford that lodging in poorest area of Munich. He did not mind the bad food and lack of comfort or even the dirt and squalor, but he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. So here the Albert says that. So here the Albert also didn't like that lodging place because not its place is completely bad or dirty one, but the main reason is that that violence, slum violence. Albert hates that violence. That's why he doesn't like to stay there. Here the meaning is squalor. Squalor, it means the state of being extremely dirty and unpleasant. His landlady beat her children regularly, and even Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. Now, in the house where he lives, the violence is also there. The landlady of Albert every day beat her children, and every Saturday her husband visit her and beat her. Maybe this frustration she throws upon her children, but at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri when he called round in the evening. The same evening when the Albert said his problem with his friend, only one friend, Yuri advised him that even you have your own room, which is more important than any other thing. At least you live among civilized human beings, even if they are all poor students, said Albert. Albert says that you cannot say like to me because you are living in a place with the civilized students, civilized humans. No doubt they all are poor students, but at least they are students and they have some manners how to live. They are not behaving like my landlady and the other where I am living. They are not all civilized, Yuri replied. Did you not hear that one of them was killed last week in a duel? To Albert, Yuri said that they are students doesn't mean they are civilized and well-mannered person. Didn't you hear that last week they happened in our area that one was killed in the duel? duel यानी कि like battle. Nothing, of course. He is even proud of it. His only worry is that the authorities have told him not to fight any more duels. So here Yuri said that even the person who killed that one, he wasn't any worry. He's completely feel proud on him that, but he is only worry for that the authority will not permit him to fight more battles. He is upset about this because he hasn't a single scar on his face to wear his for the rest of the life as badge of honor. So here the Yuri said that जो person उसको जिसने किसी को मार डाला है, जो वो फाइटर था, उसको लाइक कोई पड़ी ही नहीं है, वो हैप्पी है, पर उसको एक अफसोस है, लाइक वो गिल्ट है कि उसके फेस पे एक भी स्कैर यानी कि एक भी साइन नहीं है जो उसको दिखा सके कि ओके रेस्ट ऑफ द हिज लाइफ दैट मैंने कभी ये लाइक किसी को मारा था. द बैज ऑफ ऑनर, लाइक एक होता है ना आर्मी के ऊपर वो साथ यूनिफॉर्म पे उसके स्टार्स लगे होते हैं. इट्स डिफाइन दैट देयर पोस्ट एंड देयर ब्रेवरी. तो यहाँ पे भी उसका एक गिल्ट है कि यार मेरे पास ये नहीं है. ओह, exclaimed Albert, and these are the students. तो एल्बर्ट फाइनली कहता है कि ओके ये लोग खुद को स्टूडेंट्स कहते हैं, रियली? Well, you will be a student one day, said Yuri. Yuri said that don't worry, you will be also a student one day. Student one day यानी कि here यहाँ पे यूरी भी थोड़ा टॉन्टिंग सेंस में बोल रहा है कि डेफिनेटली विल बी अ स्टूडेंट वन डे. वाई? बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम एल्बर्ट इग्नोर to visit school and he never pretend that like he's a student, but he's always put his point of view in front of the teachers, and teachers thought that he's arguing with him. I doubt it, said Albert gloomily यानी कि sadly Albert says that I doubt it, one day I will be student. I don't think I will ever pass the exams for the second school diploma. Look here, Albert does not hate the school or education. He hates the way education goes. He told his cousin Elsa the same next time she came to Munich. Normally she lived in Berlin where her father had a business. Once also that Albert told his cousin Elsa about this. Then and Elsa most of the time live in the Berlin, but he was why he lived in the Berlin? Because she lives in the Berlin because her father had a business there. I am sure you could learn enough to pass the exams, Albert, if you tried. She said, यानी कि Elsa. When Einstein said her that I have doubt that I will clear the exam of school diploma, that time Elsa concerned him that don't worry, you will definitely pass your examination. I know lots of boys who are much more stupid than you are who get through. Here Elsa is praising Albert or not? It's like a question. She said that I know most of the boys, they are much more stupid than you. Then you are good enough that you will definitely pass it. They say you don't have to know anything. You don't have to understand what you are taught. Just be able to repeat it in the exams. Elsa advised him that just don't worry. Whatever you learned in the classroom, just repeat it in the exam. There is no worry, you will definitely pass. That's the whole trouble, said Albert. I am not good at learning things by heart. Albert accept that. This is the main problem. That's why I am worried that I will pass my exam or not. Because I am not good at learning by heart. I always ask questions. I always think using my brain like why this and why that. I am always try to find the reason, never try to learn. You don't need to be good at it. Anyone can learn like a parrot. You just don't try. And yet, I always see that you with a book under your arm, added Elsa. What is one yours reading? Elsa said that you are saying that you are not good in learning, but I always see one book with you. And learning is not a more thing, it's less like a cramp. रट्टा मारो और लिखो एग्जाम में. यहाँ पे एल्सा का स्टेटमेंट है. And Elsa also asks about the book which Albert always carry, a book on geology. The Albert says that it's book about geology. Geology, rocks and things. Do you learn that? Elsa was surprised. She asked that, really? You really like to learn about this? No, we have hardly any science at school. Albert says that we have any hardly lecture of science in school. Then why are you studying it? Because I like it. Isn't that a good enough reason? Elsa sighed. So Albert says that I try to learn and I always study this book because I like it. And don't the reason is enough to carry this book, that I carry this book just because I like it, and I like it, that's why I read it. So समझ में आ रहा है the concept of Einstein and concept of school. In school they teach us about the history, about the facts, and here the Einstein like to find the reason. You are right, of course, Albert, she said, but it won't help your diploma. Elsa advised him that it's good that you have a book of geology and you like it and that's why you read it, but this book will not pass you in exam, especially your diploma. Apart from the books on science, his only comfort was music, and he played his violin regularly until his landlady asked him to stop. So except the geology book, Albert liked to play the violin, and he regularly played it until his landlady shouted that and just asked him to stop. That wailing gets on my nerves, she said. There is enough noise in this house. Will all the kids howling? The Elsa said that, not that landlady said that this wailing gets in my nerves. Wailing, it means crying with pain or anger. So that landlady said that all these words and that sound, it's get on my nerves. And there is enough noise in this house. यानी कि ऑलरेडी मेरे घर में इतनी लाइक आवाज़ है कि और की ज़रूरत नहीं है. विथ ऑल द किड्स होलिंग यानी कि मेकिंग अ साउंड. Albert was tempered to point out that most of the time it was she who made them howl, but he decided it was better to say nothing. Albert was so angry. He wanted to say to lady that I am not doing noise, but you are creating a sound in the house. But there is no point to say anything to her. That's why he chose that it's better to stop and say nothing to her. I must get away from here, he said, Yuri. After 6 months alone in Munich, it is absurd that I should go on like this. In the end, it will turn out I have been wasting my father's money and everyone's time. It will be better for all if I stop now. So Albert saying like this, why? Because he is also aware that his father hasn't enough money, but still his father spent money for him for his education. So he thought that I should stop my education and just leave this place because I am wasting the money of my father and also I am wasting the time of others and as well as mine also. And then what will you do? Yuri asked. I don't know. If I go to Milan, I am afraid my father will send me back unless. His eyes gleamed with a sudden idea. So here then Einstein said that I don't know where to go. If I visit my father's place, Milan, then definitely my father will send me again for school, for diploma. And suddenly he uttered the word unless and he gleamed, yani his eyes light with something, some idea. Yuri, do you know any friendly doctors? Now Einstein asked this question to his only one friend Yuri. Why, he asked? Let's see in the next para. I know a lot of medical students and some of them are friendly, said Yuri. Doctor? No, I have never had enough money to go to one. Why? So here the Albert asked that, do you know any friendly doctors? Why friendly doctors? Yani ki some doctor who is your friend. So Yuri said that I know many of the medical students, but not any proper professional doctor, because I had never enough money to visit him. That's why whatever I have need of, I will ask my medical students or medical friends. Suppose, said Albert, that I had a nervous breakdown. Suppose a doctor would say it's bad for me to go school and I need to get right away from it. So suddenly Albert says that I need a doctor because if the doctor said that I had a nervous breakdown, yani कि I am in depressed and just because I am visiting school, that's why I am facing that problem. If someone give me the certificate of this and I will show it to my father will definitely not force me to visit school. So this one is the idea of Albert Einstein. Let's see in the next part it will be successful or not. Till then, just keep watching our channel, like us. Thank you.